Alrighty, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Less Non Classic. This is episode number 2715 and Doubleshot number 2609. So, with this particular one, we're wrapping up two things here for this one. First, wrapping up a series. Yes, we're discussing the final trade that collect issues from Marvel Team Up Volume 3, Freedom Ring. Yep. Now, this is a kind of in a way a six-parter. Yeah, well, it starts. Actually, it's more like a seven-parter. It takes the last 7 issues of this book. It covers like issues 19 and 25 of the book, written by Robert Kirkmen, artwork by Corey Walker. Yep. So, in the case of these issues, well, the first issue basically features a team up between Cable, Wolverine, and Jubilee. Freedom Ring is a character original in this book, and he doesn't really do anything when this book wraps up. Not really, no. It's like Kirkman basically brought this guy in just to do, and then Marvel does nothing with the guy afterwards. And the whole thing with this guy, he's basically just a new character to bring in. And of course, he's with Captain America, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Crusader, the second one anyways. Well, actually, 23 was actually this new one's debut appearance. Yeah. So... yeah, and there's also team up with Spider-Woman and a bunch of heroes just deal with Titanus. And that's kind of like it when it comes to this book. Just a really fun book. I enjoyed it. I give basically this remaining one a 9 out of 10. Final thoughts on the Marvel Team Up, this run Marvel Team Up, and the whole series as a whole, because I officially have done reviewing Marvel Team Up. Unless, of course, they have a new book come out. I don't know. The only Team Up book I technically have not fully reviewed yet is Superior Star. I have not fully reviewed that one just yet. Not that I can think of, no. But the Marvel Team Up first volume was absolutely amazing. There's some really good team ups in that one. And I wish they would more finish collecting that one trade. 2 was interesting. I did enjoy reviewing most. In the case of what happened with Marvel Spider-Man Team Up, I had actually reviewed that in the trades for the Clone Saga books. Yes, the complete saga, like Epics books. They collect all 7 issues of that series. Plus, they also collect the opening issue of Marvel Team Up Volume 2. 3, on the other hand, this actually was a little fun fact about this book. This was one of only 2 books that Robert Kirkman ever did for Marvel. The other was a Destroyer book. You're like, really? Yes. Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly. Well, actually, the reason why, because he got offered to be a partner in Image. So I guess he figured, though, why not? Because people know Robert Kirkman, people know Walking Dead, Invincible. Of course, he also worked on. Oh, he did work on. Oh, there was one book he did where I have not reviewed yet, but. So I kind of forgot there was a few books he worked on. I thought it was just this book. So, okay, so overall, these are books working from Marvel Comics. Okay, so where are you? Okay, Marvel Comics. He worked on. First comic work was back in 2004. He worked on Main Books 2004. Epic Anthology, number 1. Spider-Man Limited, Volume number 2, which was collected in Astonishing X-Men Companion. Spider-Man Limited, Volume number 4. He did the last 4 issues of Captain America, Volume 4, which debuted the clone of Diamondback who appeared in the previous issues. the Marvel 929 one-shots, a Jubilee miniseries, this book, Fantastic Four Foes, a one-shot time travel, a story from Amazing Fantasy 2015. He also worked on the first two Marvel Design books. He also did Dead Days one-shot. He did a What If one-shot. He also worked on. He also had a very brief run for Ultimate X-Men. He also worked on Daredevil Ant-Man. Yes, he created Eric Grady. He worked on Destroyer, but the last special book he worked on Marvel came out roughly 14 years ago. The X-Force Annual. When it comes to ongoing series, he didn't do a lot per se for Marvel. Not really. Ongoing wise, aside from this one, that's not like a one-off issue, is its arc for Captain America. This book and Ultimate X-Men, which I reviewed Ultimate X-Men. So I would say viewing this, that's like, I would say like the only ongoing series that goes Daredevil Ant-Man. And that's pretty much it. When it comes to his stuff. Yeah, I'd say so. I'll review at some point, but this Marvel Team Run was absolutely amazing. Not a really bad issue of the whole series. And, of course, I have reviewed Volume 4, so with this, I am officially done with Marvel Team Up. It is going to get briefly replaced by Marvel 2-in-1. I say briefly because like one book to discuss left for that one, plus a couple extra issues. And that's pretty much it for that one. And that's going to replace a different series. Not the same that one yet, so moving on from this one. Next up we have is The Outsiders, Volume 2, issues 13-24. The last 12 issues Mike Delbert ever wrote for Outsiders, because despite the fact Outsiders brought up a few times since this book came out, he has never returned this book at all. Nope. Paul Beliter never did any more art for this book at all. So in issue number 13, we have a guest appearance by Superman, who's here to get Eradicator. That's it. That's kind of what basically he's here for. Yeah, issue 14, basically, we have Katana's group, Geoforce, and Tenorak take on Lady Shiva. And yes, in the cover it shows her being stabbed. That does happen in the book. And then we have the two outsider groups meet up, and they take on Felix Faust, Sebastian Faust's father. And these Howards in these issues. And then we see a reunion of Strike vs. Cobra, which couple of them actually died in this issue here. Yeah, this is a very brief return for the group, which sadly after this they would pop up again in the final issue of Batman the Outsiders in 2010, actually like 2011. Yeah, and each issue focuses on a different group. Then we have the whole thing with issue 17 is that Geoforce wants to see his sister, but of course Donna Troy, Green Lantern, and Arsenal tried this. Actually, Donna Troy has south of it, and he has a fight like, and of course Green Lantern's like, she doesn't want to see you. He's like, have her say it to my face. So he proceeds to get in a fight with Kyle Rayner, and Donna Troy has something to knock it off. And eventually, he's either speak to Terra, and she mentions that this actually is Terra 2, the clone of the original Terra. He still considers her like the same Terra he knew, but not the same monster as the original one. It's a really fun guest star appearance by the Titans. And if you're curious, was this put here just to promote the new Titans book? Probably, because I think the book got canceled not long after this. Yeah, and then we have a two-parter known as The Son of Thy Father. Yeah, and then we have the Outsiders reunited as a full team, with Windfall joining the roster. Yep. To deal with more Felix Faust stuff. Yeah, this is a quick two-part, if I'm not mistaken. This Oki Dai comes back, and then 20, of course, basically has take on has returned a Metamorpho to the book. Yes, Metamorpho is back first time since like Volume 1. And then Eradicator take on basically for the next few issues they basically go to Apocalypse. Yeah, they're kidnapped by Darkseid School for some reason, and looking up Orion and Light Ray show up basically to say Earth doesn't want to protect you, basically with a treaty. Yeah, and also Orion is in his Jack Kirby attire, not the outfit he was wearing in the Justice League America book. And then, of course, basically for the next couple issues, they fight Eclipso. And that's sadly it for the book. They fight Eclipso, Eradicator quits team, Battle Axe dies in the final issue of this book. And Super Rescue Squad with Alpha Centaurian, Steel, Superboy, and Supergirl all taking Eclipso. And here's the odd thing about this last issue. We have it where in this final issue where Denise and Geoforce get married, which is a bit contradictory given the fact they were married in the previous book. Yeah, the fact they got divorced and now they get remarried once again. I don't really understand this. Also, the whole thing of like him trying to woo Katana. Yeah, this whole book, it's like not mentioned here at all. In fact, these two have a relationship. And it's remember the same fucking writer. Yes, but this was interesting. I would say it's not as good as the first run they did, that Mark Barr did. But, damn, I thought it was really good. But it's a 90s style book, so think of what you will. I thought the guest appearance by Suitman in issue 13 was really interesting, and having Asbat guest star for a few issues was really cool too. But the thing with this book is, it's noteworthy for turning Looker into a vampire, which is still stuck to, even after the Flashpoint reboot, still stuck. Yeah, you would think maybe that they would get rid of this. Nope, still stuck around. Also the whole thing of like the vampire stuff, that's kind of quickly dropped after the opening few issues. Yeah, it's like after the first year, it's like the whole premise to start this book off, it's like it's dropped, and then they have a concept of splitting the Outsiders in two. One led by Eradicator, the other led by Katana, which I found that very interesting. And Metamorpho, a guy who was a concept for the first couple books for Outsiders, here he appears for one freaking issue. And you're curious, like, why did he appear in one issue of this book? Well, that kind of was the reason why. He was Justice League Europe at the time. And he was in Justice League. That was some of the reason for it. He technically didn't return to the Outsiders until the end of Volume 3. Which, by the way, this final issue, issue 24, that was released in 1995. Yes, 1995 was the final issue of this book released. With Casey Jones doing the artwork for the last two issues of this book. Yeah, Paul Belici had been the artist since like the book started. And then Casey Jones in the last 4 issues of the book. Not really sure why, but that's kind of what happened here. And this volume also is noteworthy for having no annual, didn't have a special. It only lasted 2 years, which is actually pretty decent length. And the next book would not come out for 7 years. And I'm going to get to basically talk about this book soon. Which is going to be interesting because I reviewed some of this book already, but not the entirety of it. But I will be reviewing this book soon. This book is quite interesting. I don't think this book will take me very long to get through the review. And then Volume 4, and that's pretty much it. Volume 4 will be the quickest to get through because there's not really a lot of issues to discuss for that one. For that one, there's like about 15 issues to discuss for that one. But it's going to be quite interesting to discuss that book. Yep. Oh, I give Outsiders Volume 2 issues 13 and 24 a 9 out of 10. Yep. And final thoughts on Mike Daly Barr's run with the Outsiders overall. The guy did an amazing job with this book. The first book, Batman Outsiders, was amazing. / Mention Outsiders. Outsiders Farm was really good. This one, I would say it's not like the same level as the first two books he did. I would say it's just below that. Yep. But like I mentioned, he has another book written. He does make Katana again. Yep, he does. As part of a mini-series where it was a double feature with Deadshot. And they write another Katana book. Yeah, she come back, right, just Katana. But as for Eradicator, well, he returned to Outsiders in Volume 4. As for rest members, well, okay, so what happened to rest members? Geoforce himself will return, not in Volume 3, he returned basically for Volume 4. Sebastian Faust. He himself wouldn't do a lot per se. Like, right after this book wrapped up, he basically took part. I think he joined Checkmate right after this book wrapped up. Yeah, it's right after this book wrapped up, he was kind of briefly a member of Justice League America. Actually, he was more like a guest star in that book. But he kind of joined Checkmate, and it's let's say he didn't do a lot per se, this book wrapped up. Yeah, that's the thing about Faust. He didn't do much after this one. Halo herself would not return for the third volume for the series. No, she would not. She, of course, basically... Yeah, and then she was sent to Halo, came back, part of the Outsiders again for Volume 4. Yeah, she didn't do much between the books. Not really. Katana herself. Oh, you know who also was missing from this book besides Metamorpho? Black Lightning. Yeah, he was not featured in this book at all. Yeah, and... And you think, okay, so what happened to her afterwards? Well, like in the case of some of the characters, she didn't do a lot afterwards. Between this book and her popping up, she did pop up in Superman Batman, the opening story with that book, but she didn't do a lot. Until she joined up with Outsiders Volume 4, she didn't do a lot. Look, the same way, Trenico, who was a virtual character in this book, he sadly would not make many appearances after this book wrapped up. Once this book wrapped up, he popped up in Guy Gardner, a couple of Deathstroke, and he's another character. Very little was done with this guy after the book wrapped up. Windfall. After this book wrapped up, she, well... I'm looking at the stuff she was in. She did very little. It's once this book wrapped up, she popped up in Suicide Squad. Apparently she died. And then she came back for the final issue of Batman Outsiders. And that was it. It's a lot of the Outsiders didn't really do very much after this wrapped up. Not really. Of course, like I mentioned, the Outsiders returned in 2003 with the Jawinic Outsiders, who read all but 3 issues of that book and have discussed in the future. Okay? So yes, that's particularly a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do the dislike button. Next up is One Piece. Okay, next video. Bye.